let's jump into the first one, inconsistency. Here we are in the middle of the pandemic. This visual should represent something very, now it's just part of our common everyday language, which is we needed at the very beginning of this to flatten the curve. We didn't want the spike. We wanted something, consistent, if you will, over a longer period of time, so that our medical professionals could help handle the flow of potential sick individuals and treat them, and our hospitals wouldn't be overrun. So we wanted to flatten the curve. We didn't want the spike. We wanted something over an extended period of time. Coach, the same thing is true in recruiting. In your contact, in the way that you recruit, what we see happening most of the time is that when a new class is recruited and coaches start recruiting that class, they'll have all this contact at the beginning. They'll send stuff, they'll email, they'll send the letters, they'll send the stuff from admissions. Everything is flowing in all at once to the prospect at the beginning. And then as time goes on, it drops off. And then you're left with texting and trying to call and, hey, you're going to come to campus. And we stop recruiting and we just start begging them to come to campus. And are you still interested? And are you going to come here? And that is inconsistent when it comes to how recruits want to be recruited. So coaches and prospects, if these two bubbles were to represent you, or these two graphics were to represent the way that recruiting happens, coaches tend to be all at the beginning. I have lots to talk about, but then I run out fast. Prospects, what we find, like it when there's a little bit of information flowing in over a longer period of time. And part of this is what it does to their psychology, which we'll get into in a second, but there's a reason that they want it over an extended period of time. So if I had to average it, you see the dotted line there representing sort of the average of all this. We don't want to see the spike at the beginning. We don't want to see the drop off at the end. We want consistency throughout. And more importantly, your recruit wants that consistency, because when you give them consistency, it does a couple of things psychologically to them. First of all, when the timing is right and there is this regular flow, they keep engaged. They don't have to wonder if you're still interested in them, because what happens with the spike, we have found, coaches that are making that mistake, what we find is that athletes get used to the spike and think, wow, they're really interested. This is great. There's all this contact coming in. And then when it trickles off very fast, and then you might go 2 or 3 or 4 weeks without contacting them. When coaching staffs do that, the immediate thing that prospects begin to think is, they must not be interested in me anymore. I'm not getting as much. They're measuring you. So what we want is consistency. We found that to be the best case when we're helping clients develop their messaging plans and what they should be talking about in recruiting. We want to space that out over a long period of time, because again, the common problem the coaches have that they tell us about is they run out of things to say. I don't know what to say after the first 2 months. I've said everything. We don't want that. They want consistency. Throughout the last 15 years of measuring it, the most common time frame that they say works best for them as recruits is when you give them something every 6 to 9 days that explains to them why they should compete for you, why they should come to your campus and compete for you. And number 2, how are you better than my other choices? Which isn't negative recruiting, but it's making the case and giving them evidence of why your program, why your campus, why living on the campus, why being in that particular college town should be something that they want. And most coaches make the mistake of not doing that. When it's every 6 to 9 days outbound, that doesn't mean you have to talk to them every 6 to 9 days, but an email, a letter, something that puts it into their hands where they're able to soak it in, focused on one main point, that gets them to track with you, to remember what you're telling them, and to prove that you still want them. So it tells the complete story in a sense. The goal is through recruiting not to just throw everything out all at once, a bunch of stats and facts and figures. What we want to do is tell the story of why they should pick your program. And when you tell that complete story, not only just about athletics, but about your life on campus, the degree that they're going to earn, all the different aspects of their decision, that's what begins to sway them and draw them over to your side. And when you're consistent, it proves that you want them more, because they're measuring every time a coach is interacting with them, and the frequency, the regularity, what they're saying in their message. They're measuring. You have to step back for a second and, coach, you did this. Or if you're an athletic director, you see your student athletes, you hear how they chose your school. And what do they choose it on? Well, I just felt like you wanted me more. Or I just felt like this place was the right place. Or when the coach was contacting me, he or she was saying these things to me. Every step along the way, they are measuring, and they're trying to assess where you fit in their blocks. We don't, as humans, we don't like to be sitting with so much of an open mind that we don't know what we're doing. We like to order things. We like to prioritize. We like to figure out where are my first choices, and who's second, third, fourth, and so on. So as you're doing the initial recruiting communication, what we find with prospects is that they're trying to figure out, where are you in my order? And all they have to go on is what they feel like you are communicating with to them. So if you're inconsistent, what that tells them is that you're probably looking at them as a prospect as not very important, because it's irregular contact. When it's regular contact, even if they aren't interested in your school right away, what they're going to say or feel, more importantly, is, wow, they really want me. Wow, now them compared to the other inconsistent coaches, they seem to want me more because they are contacting me more. So this consistency issue is huge. Number one problem that we want to correct, number one mistake, because it proves that you want them more, and it gives you the ability as the coach then to enter in and make this just make this happen. So that's the first mistake that we want to correct, is inconsistency, and that's a big mistake happening right now. Mistake number.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to get more great sports branding videos from Hartwell Studio Works, hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen.